listen, daughter. Pay attention, pray and listen, hear your father.
What's good, beautiful people? Welcome to my channel. My name is Shella and I am an admitted attorney of the High Court of South Africa. In this video, I'm going to be sharing with you 5 important things to take into account before you sign any type of contract, be it a self-home contract or a contract of employment. These 5 tips still apply. Don't let the excitement of getting into that contract make you rush into signing before you take these 5 into account. Now, without wasting any more time, let's get into it. Number 1, read the contents of the contract carefully and make sure you understand what it is that you are agreeing to. If you don't understand, ask questions. Because you have not signed the contract, you are not bound by anything. If you need to renegotiate terms, look carefully at the clauses. If there's a certain clause that you don't agree with, this is the time to renegotiate it or cancel it in its entirety. But essentially, you need to understand what it is that you are getting into. A contract is an agreement. It is not one person imposing their power on another. It is essentially 2 or more people agreeing on a specific thing and how it is going to be carried out and how it's going to happen. So you and the one that you're getting into the contract with need to be on the same page about the contract. It must not be that one person is intending one thing and another is intending another thing. That is not a contract. A contract is essentially a meeting of the minds, 2 or more people agreeing on one thing. Number 2, carefully consider the rights and the responsibilities of the parties in the contract. So what is expected of you and what are you expecting from the other party? You need to establish this. After you have read the contract, before you can sign, ask yourself, do I know what my rights and responsibilities are in terms of this contract? And do I know what the other person needs to be doing in terms of this contract? That's how you establish whether you fully understand the rights and the responsibilities that flow from this agreement. Number 3, familiarize yourself with the parties involved in the contract. Who will provide the services and how? For example, let's say it's a lease to property. You need to know what happens in cases where there's damage. Are there third parties who need to come in and fix the damage? And if that is the case, who is liable to pay for those damages? Who is liable to pay for the services of third parties? In the event that there's natural disaster, who is liable for those damages? To what extent is the owner of the property liable for certain damages or things missing from your property? You need to familiarize yourself with that. So you need to familiarize yourself with the parties who are involved in the contract and who needs to do what in terms of it. Number 4, this is so important and this is 2-part. Firstly, scratch out every single thing that you don't agree with. So let me make an example. Let's say you and me agree to enter into a contract of any contract, and we discuss first verbally, and then I email you the contract and I say, okay, here's the contract, it's ready, please sign and we can get rolling. Now, because you're so excited and we have discussed this contract over the phone, now you're happy, you trust me, you signed the contract. And there were certain things that during our discussion, certain things that I mentioned during the discussion, I did not put them in the contract. Now you've got the mentality that, oh no, I know what this contract is about because she told me during the discussion that this is what the contract entails. No, big mistake. So you read the contract and what you don't agree with, you scratch it out. You scratch it out and you initial on each page. Second thing, where there are blank spaces, make sure that you fill in the blanks. So contracts will have, let's say, a blank space for your name, ID number, your address, and certain other information that you fill in. Don't leave any of the spaces open, because in times of disputes, somebody might just put in whatever it is that they want to put on the blank because you have not filled it in yourself. And if you have not filled it and you have initialed on the contract, literally when somebody adds in whatever it is that they want to add in, it's like you have agreed to it because your signature is there. You have initialed every single page. So the importance of initialing on every single page is to show that you have read the contents of that page and you agree with them and you understand. If you don't agree, just scratch it out and say, I don't agree with 2.5, I don't agree with this. Or even if it's an amount, you might agree with the whole clause, but you don't agree with the amount. Scratch out the amount. Scratch out the amount and be like, you said 1,500. Why did you put there 3,000 rand? Be mindful of these things. So that is number 4. And the last one, number 5, make sure that you keep a copy of the contract with you. This is important because if the other party is not performing in terms of the contract, you have this document to refer to say, but this is what we agreed on. Why isn't it happening? So it means that this other person, this other party has breached the contract. Therefore, I can enforce the remedies that are in the contract. So if maybe you have put in remedies in the contract that if one person does not perform, you can take them to court, you can issue summons against them. You are able to do that because you've got the copy of the contract. You know what to do. And not only that, it also just gives you that sense of security because you'll constantly refer to this document to see if things are going accordingly. And if not, you're able to do something about it on time. For example, if you've got a contract with people who are building your house and they say that the foundation will be finished in 2 weeks, and now it's 4 months and the foundation is still not done, and the contractor is giving you all types of stories, telling you how their suppliers are not bringing materials on time, they're doing this, they're doing that, there's just quarrels and there's back and forth, going back and forth, and this one is blaming this one, your contractor is blaming suppliers, and it's just a mess. This is where your contract comes in handy because you can say, hey buddy, this is what you agreed to and you're not coming to the table according to these remedies in the contract. I am going to enforce this contract, I'm going to enforce these remedies. So if you don't have the contract with you, you might forget that there's a part in the contract where there are remedies for non-performance, and then you are taking these stories. Now 4 weeks turns to 4 months, 4 months turns to 6 months, half a year, 1 year, there's still no foundation for the house. Do you see that? So it's really important for you to know what it is that you're agreeing to and also keep a copy of the contract. And that is it. Those are my top 5 tips before entering into any contract. Don't let the excitement of getting into contracts let you go astray and not look at the important stuff and not be mindful of the important things. And know that before you sign a contract, you have all the power to amend, to add, to remove from it. Like I said, a contract is a meeting of the minds. It's not one person imposing their power on you. It's an agreement. So with that said, we have come to the end of the video, and I hope that you have learned a thing or 2 or 5 from this video. And until my next one, I'm sending you tons of love and light. Bye.